What's going on, everyone from Overtime Heroics? My name is Dan Podolsky, and I'm joined here with UFC Welterweight Darian Weeks. Darian is set to return to action on September 10th when he takes on Yohan Lainesse at UFC 279. Darian, thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh yeah, not a problem. Always, man. Thank you for having me on.
Of course. And just first off, you're originally scheduled to fight Cedric Downboy in France. Now you're gonna be, in your home or not in your hometown, but you're from America. You're the American fighting Yohan Lainesse at UFC 279. How much of a change does that make for you?
Um, most of the change is just not having to go overseas. With the time change would have been a super difference. Um, and then we're fighting in Vegas, so that's always nice. Fought in Vegas before, and it went well for me. So it's it's more of a the time change, but the mission's still the same. Go out there, do work, and get the W.
Have you gotten to watch any of Lance's film? Is that a big part of how you train?
Up foremost, we just train for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We make sure that all of our I's are dotted and all of our T's are crossed, um, just in case something like this happens where you know Doombe is out and then I got my opponent changed to Yohan. So we try to uh, we try to make sure that we're all well rounded to begin with, just because you never know what's going to happen in the UFC. But then, yes, I have watched a bit of film on him. He seems like an explosive guy. He seems like a guy who comes out pretty aggressive. So I feel like that matches with my style well. We also come out aggressive. We also come out to bang. So I feel like it'll put on for a good fight.
And so comparative, you say you fought in Vegas, but that was at the Apex. This is in front of fans. When we last fought Ian Machado Garry, that was in front of fans. How much do the fans being there just kind of get you pumped up comparative to when you're back at the Apex?
They definitely just put a certain level of energy in the room, what I mean, compared to, going to the Apex, it's kind of quiet in there. All you hear is your coaches and their coaches yelling. But when you're in that environment where there's tons of fans, all you feed off is their energy and your own energy. There's a lot of electrifying energy in the air, and it kind of pumps you up, gets you ready. Kind of reminds me of gladiators, kind of what they felt like going through the Coliseum.
And so you're 0-2 in the UFC, but strength of schedule wise, it's Barberena, who's obviously been a veteran, and Ian Machado Garry is one of the top, prospects in the division. What does that kind of say about you and that, you're not here to turn down any fight?
Um, yeah, 2-0 or 0-2, um, and both decision losses. Both fights I could have won. So I feel like that says a lot for me. I feel like the UFC knows that my capabilities. They know, I come in there to scrap. I mean, I come walking straight forward to my opponent. There's no retreat in me at all. Um, I know how to block hits, take hits, and keep coming. So I mean, I feel like they feel like I'm very durable, and that there's a dog in me that we just gotta get our feet warm in this league, and then we're gonna start getting our finishes once again.
And so you have five career wins as a pro, long amateur career. Of your five wins, three knockouts, two subs. What do you is that going to be your goal for this fight to go out there and get that finish? And where do you feel more comfortable on the feet or on the ground because you have both submissions and knockouts?
I definitely that's definitely the goal. We're gonna go out there, always want to get a finish. That's always the end goal. You don't throw jabs to, maybe some people do, but we don't throw jabs or crosses or kicks to, kind of feed us into the later rounds. We throw them with intent. Um, and I feel great, either way. I've worked, as you see, and I have some boxing matches as well in my pro career. Um, I feel comfortable on my feet. I feel comfortable on the ground. Did wrestling for quite a while in school, so I mean, I'm really feeling comfortable either way. Either way, this fight wants to go, we can take it there. If he wants to stand and bang in the center of the octagon, I'm more than welcome to. If he wants to shoot a shot on me and try to play the jiu-jitsu game, I'm more than happy to do that as well. While smashing his face with a couple elbows and get maybe leave off with a rear naked choke or something.
What do you think gives you the advantage over Yohan Lainesse?
I think my biggest advantage is just my athleticism, my power, my athleticism, my strength. Um, we have that big athleticism over the top of him. And I feel like as long as we're, not too eager and we're patient, I think things will play into our hands. As I've seen some of Yohan's earlier fights, he kind of gets tired. He's rarely been past the middle of the second round. So if we can go in there and push the pace on them all the way through the first, I feel like in the second it'll open up tons of things.
And so you get to open up this pay-per-view card, big card in Vegas, headlined by Hamza and Nate Diaz. Does that kind of like encourage you to want to go out there and put on the show for the crowd and maybe do something explosive early in the fight, just to kind of set the pace for the night?
Definitely it does. There's those are two exciting fighters that are going to be on that card. I feel like it really sets the tone for the whole card. It has everybody has something to show before those two get on the road. You know what I mean? And get to banging. So I feel like it's going to set the tone for not only my fight but every fight on there. Everyone's going to be looking to do something spectacular because not only are we there to win and there to get the finish, but they give you $50,000 for knockout or submission or performance. So just to get that extra money would be superb.
I do want to ask about Ian Garry, because he came into the UFC with a ton of hype, and you're one of the few guys who's fought him. Like stylistically, what can you tell me about his power and his striking? And do you really see him as one of those guys who could be a perennial contender? Because I think a lot of people see him as a guy who's a potential, future contender.
Yeah, he's a good athlete. His punches are fast. He's got good timing. Um, I mean, I still think he has stuff to improve, but I mean, I guess we all do. You know what I mean? With all of us coming into the UFC at the same time, I mean, we all have stuff to prove. This is the first time we've been on the stage where it's the top of the top. But he's definitely got all the makings for it. He's got the movement. He's long. He's got that Wonder Boy build. Yeah, I think he'll do a great job in the league. I think he'll do a great job in this division, and I feel like yeah, down the road we'll see him up in the top 10.
And you see yourself right there with him, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I see him as number 10, me as number 9. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Go going forward, like after this fight, do you want to fight again in 2022? What are your, short-term goals, and what are your long-term goals? Obviously, everyone's goal is they want to be the champion, but where do you
Yeah.
see yourself, going for the next few years?
Next few years, I feel like I just want to fight as many and many exciting fights as I can. Try to get a hold of as many top fighters as I can. And number one thing before my eyes not really on the championship belt, it's on that BMF belt. There's 7 different championship belts along the weight classes. There's only one BMF belt. You know what I mean? So if I can get my hands on that, that'd be beautiful. You know what I mean? To hold the only belt that was created for George Masvidal. If it brings me to George Masvidal's doorstep, I'll take it. You know what I mean? Any way I can get to that belt, I'm glad to get there.
I mean, you might not be there yet, but if you win this fight, we get on the mic, we're gonna hear a Jorge Masvidal call out.
Hell yeah, we can. We can hear Jorge Masvidal call out, or whoever gets the BMF belt. If somebody fights him and they take that mug from him, hey, then they're next on my list. So anyway, I can get to that belt, that'd be wonderful.
And so coming into this one, you initially open up as an underdog for this fight. You've been bet down to around a favorite. So you're about minus 120 favorite. Is that something you pay attention to? Does it motivate you at all? Is that talk to me?
I don't know. It's that's just people's hearsay. You know what I'm saying? They're looking at two people's stats. They're looking at their prior fights against opponents that weren't the ones that they're going up against now, and they're just making an assumption. So that doesn't really, I don't really read into that. I've seen favorites get knocked out, and I've seen, um, favorites go ahead and blow out the other guy because they're just better than them. It's just all depends on the fighter, really. I mean, I'm glad that they bet me that way. That's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely feel like I'm more focused on just trying to show it first. You know what I mean? Let's get that first UFC win, that first UFC finish, and then we'll walk into that favorite in another fight. You know what I mean?
Are you still training at Hewlett MMA? Sorry, Hewlett House MMA. That's in Missouri.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am.
And so that's a pretty small gym for you guys. I would say there's pros and cons to that. The pros being there's more focus on you. The cons being it might be a little bit harder to find higher level training partners. Talk to me about what's like training at that smaller gym comparative to someone who's, maybe training at Top Team or Extreme Couture, one of the big name gyms.
First thing, Hewlett House and Body Shop. Those are the gyms I started at. So those are I don't leave the gyms I started at. A lot of people, get to the second level and they start thinking that they have to, leave the gym that they're at, or they have to, go find a different place to get better training. I feel like it's all about the work you put in. Not necessarily the people that you work around. What's up? And so I think mainly it's just it goes well for me. They, like you said, they put a lot of focus on me, so that works well. And if we ever do need other guys to train with, I mean, we do a lot of traveling. We'll go down to Florida, we'll go down to New Mexico, down there at Jackson Wink. We'll go other places and search around and get some guys. Just to make sure our workouts are comparing to the guys at the top of the level. But I've never had a problem with training at the gym that I train at. Even though it's a small gym. Like I said, I like the focus that it just puts on me. And we got a lot of good fighters coming up out of there. You know what I mean? So I don't like to abandon them and give them you know the wrong footing. You know what I'm saying? And put that in their head that it's okay to leave a gym that you kind of started out with.
I'll give you this opportunity too. If there's any guys from your gym who you want to shout out who might be on the regional scene that you can see maybe one day being on the UFC, here's your chance.
Oh yeah, for sure. I shout out Mervin Miller, Gunners Arimba. Um, Shout out to Jair. Shout out um, my boy Jason. Shout out his brother Jordan. I mean they're all good guys that are going to come up. Jordan and Jason Carson is probably some of the most athletic people that I've known. You're going to see them here soon in the division of 135 and 125, and they're gonna. I mean, you're gonna see once they turn pro, you're gonna see them just dropping people left and right. They are complete animals. Mervin Miller, he used to be an ex-Amish. He came into the sport right out of the Amish community. We call him the Amish Nightmare. You know what I mean? He's a savage. He puts people away, and he's gonna be a wrecking ball at 185.
That's awesome. And so I think my final question, UFC 279, Darian Weeks versus Yohan Lainesse. Talk to me. How's this fight gonna play out? What's your official prediction?
We're gonna go in there. We're gonna employ our game plan. We're gonna get the finish, whether that is 30 seconds into the first round or 30 seconds left into the third round. You know what I mean? We're gonna stay calm, keep our head cool. We're gonna cause a lot of damage throughout the fight. We're gonna get them to break, and then we're gonna get them out of there. You're gonna see my hand raised with the finish.
Awesome. Best of luck to you, Darian. Guys, Darian takes on Yohan Lainesse at UFC 279. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you so much for having me, man. It was nice.